Hello friends. Friends, in today's video, we will be discussing the Vaisheshika School of Indian Philosophy. The Vaisheshika School of Indian Philosophy was founded by Maharishi Kanada, who wrote the first treatise, which is the Vaisheshika Sutras on this philosophy. This philosophy takes up a naturalistic approach wherein it discusses the idea of the universe being made up of atoms. So this is the first philosophy that is known to us wherein the idea of atoms have been discussed. So it's a very naturalistic philosophy which takes a look at this universe from a naturalistic point of view. The philosophy is given the name Vaisheshika because this takes a look at the particularity of different things out of which this universe is made, and so that is why this philosophy is called Vaisheshika philosophy. So let's start this video and have a look at what this philosophy actually talks about. Epistemology. Hinduism identifies 6 reliable sources, that is praman, of gathering knowledge about the truths. These are: first, pratyaksha, which is perception. What you see is what you believe in. Second is anuman, which is inference. As an example, if you see smoke, then you can infer there is fire. Third is upaman, which means comparison and analogy. As an example, if you have never seen a moose and I tell you that the moose looks like a stag with different antlers, in future you see a moose and you realize that you have identified moose, then you have realized it through upaman. Fourth is arthapatti, which means postulation or derivation from circumstances. You see something and then you make a guess for the truth. This is how all modern scientific theories have been developed. As an example, you observe that the galaxies are moving further from each other. So you postulate at some instance back in time, all the galaxies were at a single point and the universe came into existence with Big Bang. Fifth is anupalabdhi, which is non-perception or negative cognitive proof. As an example, you have never seen a penguin fly in the sky, so you know that penguins cannot fly. Sixth is shabd, which is scriptural testimony or verbal testimony of past or present reliable experts. As an example, considering the Vedas to be reliable source of knowledge. Out of these 6 praman, Vaisheshika philosophy only considers pratyaksha, that is perception, and anuman, that is inference, to be reliable. Vaisheshika philosophy also accepts Vedas to be valid but reduce them to pratyaksha and anuman when it comes to using them as a source of knowledge. Natural world. In the Vaisheshika school, the whole world is divided into 2 divisions, which is bhav and abhav. There are 6 further divisions of bhav. These are dravya, gun, karma, samanya, vishesh and samvaya. Let's understand them in detail. Dravya. The substance in which or on which action happens is dravya. These are prithvi, earth, up, water, tejas, fire, vayu, air, akash, ether, kal, time, dik, space, atma, self or soul, and manas, mind. The first 5 are called bhuta, that is material objects. Of these 5, there are 2 distinctions of the first 4 substance, which is nitya, that is eternal, and anitya, non-eternal. The eternal form is called parmanu, atom, and the non-eternal form is action on them. The atom cannot be repartitioned, hence it is eternal. That which one can smell is earth, which is cold to touch is water, which has a warm touch is tejas, which does not have form and does not arise from the combination of fire is dry and cold to touch is air, and the word which has a quality is Akash. These five are also called Panch Mahabhuta. Akash, time, space, and Atma are the four Vibhu substances, which means they pervade everything. The mind is immaterial atom, it is eternal and is generated in Atma. Guna. The attributes of any function is the guna. Guna resides in Dravya and has no separate existence of its own. The original Vaisheshika Sutra mentions 17 guna, to which Prashastapad added 7 more. The original 17 guna are Roop, color, Ras, taste, Gandh, smell, Sparsh, touch, Sankhya, number, Pariman, size, dimension, quantity, Pritakatva, individuality, Sanyoga, conjunction or accompaniments, Vibhag, disjunction, Paratva, priority, Aparatva, posteriority, Buddhi, knowledge, Sukh, pleasure, Dukh, pain, Ichha, desire, Dvesh, aversion, and Prayatna, effort. To these, Prashastapad added Gurutva, heaviness, Dravatva, fluidity, Sneha, viscosity, Dharma, merit, Adharma, demerit, Shabda, sound, and Samskar, faculty. Karma. The process of action is called karma. Karma, similar to guna, also resides in the dravya, but while guna is static, karma is dynamic. Rising, falling, contracting, spreading, and other types of movements such as excursion, vibration, catharsis, etc. are 5 distinctions of the karma. Samanvaya. Similarity present in different things is samanvaya. Vishesha. That which is special is called Vishesha. This differentiates between eternal substances. Samavaya. This is a relation that exists between different entities. Understanding this world. So in terms of the general outlook of the Indian philosophy, it is said that this entire creation actually is a playground wherein all of us come and we interact with it in terms of gaining more and more knowledge about the self when we interact in this universe. So that is the point of view that all the Indian philosophies actually take, and Vaisheshik philosophy takes in the same point of view. But the inspiration that Vaisheshik philosophy gains is from the Nyaya way of thinking itself, wherein Vaisheshik philosophy takes in the view of 3 entities, which is the natural world, the Ishwar or the God you can say, and the individual soul, which is the Jivatma. So in that sense, the Vaisheshik school of philosophy takes in the outlook where this physical universe is made up of all the different elements, wherein we discuss that it is made up of 4 elements which have atoms as their constituent, and then there are 5 other elements which are not made up of atoms, but they are still part of this natural world. Now this natural world is ruled by the absolute entity, which is God or Ishwar, and he rules this entire physical world through certain rules which are called as Adrishta, and all the individual souls, which is Jivatma, they arrive in this universe and they partake in this universe. They are taking part in all the different activities that are going on over here, and through these activities the individual soul or the Jivatma actually learns about the self and he gains wisdom. So this entire creation in that sense is this playground where this individual soul or individual self or Jivatma is interacting in this physical world and is gaining knowledge. And this physical world is ruled by Ishwar, who is controlling this universe through certain rules which are adrishta, which are not really known to the individual soul. And in that sense, with these activities, the individual soul then gains knowledge about the self, and through this knowledge, the level of the individual soul goes up and up and up. So that is how the Vaisheshik philosophy actually looks at the entire constitution of this universe. Now, on top of that, the outlook of many births and all that is still going on. So this universe as such is not just being controlled by the physical laws, but there are also moral laws of karma which are also taking part in terms of how this entire universe is governed by Ishvara. Now, individual souls, they perform actions, and by performing their actions, they accumulate their merit or their demerit, which is the karma, and the consequences of their actions are then being determined by the moral law, which is being governed by Ishvara. This physical universe as such is going through a process of construction and destruction, wherein the universe is produced by the Ishvara. It's brought forth by Ishvara, and then all the individual souls are also brought forth by the Ishvara. These individual souls then partake in all the activities that are going on inside this universe. They gain karma, and based on the quality of their karma in terms of the moral laws, they can improve their situation in this universe, or they can also decrease their situation in this universe. And this cycle keeps on going, wherein these individual souls, they come to this universe, they accumulate some karma, and then they die, and then they are reborn again, and they take their karma with them, and they are moving forth, or they are moving back in their situation in this universe. The destruction and the construction of the universe is a separate process which is happening, because all the individual souls or the Jivatma, they have to get rest, because they are partaking in this universe and they get tired while partaking in this universe, and so they need rest, and that's why the universe is then taken into unmanifest form. Now, when the universe is taken into unmanifest form, what happens is that all the physical entities which are there in this universe, they go into their basic form. So the physical objects, they break into their individual atoms. These individual atoms are eternal, so they go into a manifest form of atoms, and all the individual souls are withdrawn from this physical universe, and this physical universe then goes into an unmanifest state. After a certain period of time, when the individual souls have taken the rest that they need, the universe then springs back up and it is manifest again, and all these individual souls are then brought back into this universe. And so this cycle of universe being manifest and then unmanifest keeps on going, and it has been going since eternity, and it will keep on going till eternity. All the individual souls, they also are eternal, and they come into this universe, they die, they are reborn in this universe, and this cycle keeps on going. And after a certain period of time, when the universe goes into unmanifest form, all these individual souls are also taken back, and then they are taken back into the universe when the universe is manifest again. The freedom that individual soul can get is only obtained when the individual soul gains the knowledge about the working of this physical world. And once the individual soul learns about the working of this material universe, then it attains freedom, and it merges into the nothingness. Limitations of Vaisheshik philosophy. Since Vaisheshik philosophy borrows its basic worldview from the Nyaya philosophy, therefore it has the same limitations as that of the Nyaya philosophy. These are: number one, Vaisheshik philosophy considers Jivatma to be different substance from Ishvara, and consciousness is considered just a property of Jivatma. This assumption limits us to only our subtle body and considers ourselves to be our subtle body. This leaves us with the problem of ego, because our ego is associated with the Jeev and is not really destroyed in this philosophy. The process of liberation in this philosophy is just the process of gaining the knowledge of the universe and not really the dissolution of the ego. It is never really well explained why this knowledge should lead to the liberation of Jivatma. 3. The universe goes through the eternal process of creation and destruction, and all beings are sent and withdrawn from this universe. From this description, it is not very clear what happens to the liberated beings in this process. 4th, the Ishwar in Vaisheshik philosophy has been reduced to just a powerful monarch running his kingdom through the Adrishta. Ishwar, to be separate from this physical universe, reduces the divinity of this entire creation, and this creates a lot of problems in terms of living a life which is in satisfaction, or which is in consistency with the activities which are going on in this universe. 5th, leaving the rules for ruling this universe to just the Adrishta limits us in terms of pursuing to understand these rules deeply. These rules just get attributed to Adrishta, which only the Ishvara really understands, and therefore humanity does not really try to understand these rules by themselves. The major contribution of the Vaisheshik school of philosophy is mostly in terms of its conception of the idea of atoms. But if you were to really look at this philosophy in terms of how much it can help us in living a good life or having a right spiritual outlook, I think this philosophy falls short, and there are some other Indian philosophies which are far more satisfying in that respect. But no matter what, the philosophy is important for us to understand because it provides the very important idea of the constitution of this physical universe in terms of it being made up of atoms, and how these physical phenomena which are going on in this universe are being moderated through not just physical laws but also by the moral laws. So in that respect, this philosophy still is quite useful, and you can see that these things are being present in the most foundational text of Hinduism, or you can say the most important text of Hinduism, which is the Bhagavad Gita. So there is definitely some contribution that this philosophy has made in terms of developing the Indian way of thinking, but it is not still the one which takes you to the ultimate level. There are other philosophies which are far more helpful for you in terms of developing the right outlook wherein you can live happily in this life. So the philosophy is good, but I think there are more things that we can learn, and so we will learn about those in the other philosophies of the Indian tradition. So I hope that I have explained the Vaisheshik philosophy well to you. With that, I will close this video. I will see you all in the next video. Take care.